My pregnant sister accused me of flirting with her husband at my graduation party, till he exposed her affair and revealed the baby wasn't his, sparking a physical fight that destroyed our relationship. I graduated from nursing school last Saturday, and my parents threw a big party at their house. I'm the first person in our family to get a degree, and they wanted to celebrate with everyone who supported me. My sister Emily, 24 and 8 months pregnant, came with her husband, Dennis. She'd seemed genuinely happy for me when I told her about the party, even offering to help decorate. But Emily has always needed to be the center of attention. She once announced her engagement at our cousin's wedding, and later revealed her pregnancy at our grandmother's 80th birthday dinner. She posts dramatic updates over minor issues just to get sympathy online. The party was going well. People were congratulating me, asking about my job plans, and sharing stories while we ate barbecue and cake. I was chatting with college friends near the patio when Emily stood up and marched over, her expression tense and theatrical. She pointed at me, and loud enough for everyone to hear, accused me of flirting with her husband and trying to seduce him while she was pregnant and vulnerable. Everything went silent. Emily shouted that I was jealous, bitter, and couldn't stand to see her happy. I tried to respond, but she kept interrupting, pointing at me, and claiming I'd touched Dennis's arm and laughed at his jokes inappropriately. Dennis stood frozen, clearly uncomfortable. My parents rushed over, alarmed. I told Emily to stop embarrassing herself, but she kept going, crying, and calling me a back. Then, out of nowhere, Dennis looked up and said, "Emily's the one who's been cheating, and the baby might not even be mine." Gasps. Emily's face went white. Dennis said he found texts on her phone from a guy named Randall, someone she'd been seeing behind his back. The timeline of the pregnancy matched the affair. Emily started screaming that Dennis was lying, but he pulled out his phone and read the texts aloud. They were clearly romantic, sexual, and mentioned meeting at hotels when Dennis was working late. One even said she wasn't sure whether to tell Dennis the baby might not be his dot. Emily tried grabbing the phone. She sobbed, said the messages were taken out of context, and accused Dennis of trying to humiliate her. That's when I snapped. After years of her stealing the spotlight and creating drama at other people's milestones, she had finally ruined mine. I stepped forward and shoved her. She stumbled, grabbed a table, and when I grabbed her shoulders and yelled that she was a selfish liar, she started hitting me. We got into a physical fight, her pulling my hair, me slapping her until my dad and uncles separated us. My mom was in tears. Emily clutched her belly, yelling that I was trying to hurt her baby. I never touched her stomach. I was angry, but not reckless. Dennis didn't intervene. When things calmed down, he just said, "I'm done. Find your own way home." Then he walked out. Emily begged him not to leave, then turned to our parents and demanded they choose between her and me. The party fizzled after that. People made polite excuses and left quickly. Later, while helping clean up, I told my parents they'd let Emily get away with this behavior for years. I reminded them of all the times she'd hijacked family events and how they'd told me to just let it go to avoid conflict. My dad said they tried to treat us equally. I told him ignoring bad behavior isn't equal treatment, it's enabling. My mom cried and admitted she thought I was just being competitive, not truly hurt. She apologized and said they had focused too much on keeping the peace. Instead of setting boundaries, I told them I won't attend any more family events with Emily unless she apologizes publicly for what she did. I'm done being the quiet one who just puts up with it. After being falsely accused by my pregnant sister Emily of flirting with her husband Dennis during my graduation party, tensions exploded. Dennis exposed Emily's affair and the possibility that the baby wasn't his. This led to a physical altercation between Emily and me, ruining our relationship. My parents initially tried to maintain peace, but after a conversation about the need for accountability, they agreed to ban Emily from future family events until she issued a public apology. I clarified that a public apology meant Emily should contact all the party guests, acknowledge her accusations were false, and apologize for causing unnecessary drama and discomfort at what was meant to be a celebration of my hard work. They called Emily that evening to explain their decision. She reacted emotionally, claiming her behavior was a result of pregnancy stress and marital insecurity. She argued that Dennis was to blame for making their private issues public. Despite this, my parents stood firm on the need for her to take responsibility. A few days later, Dennis followed through on a paternity test, which confirmed he wasn't the baby's father. He filed for divorce and kicked Emily out. She turned to our parents for help, and although conflicted, they asked my opinion. I told them the baby shouldn't suffer and supported a temporary stay. With clear boundaries and the condition that Emily still needed to apologize, Emily moved back home with few belongings. My parents clarified this was a short-term arrangement, focused on her recovery after childbirth. Dennis agreed to cover her prenatal expenses, but not support the baby. Emily tried to contact Randall, the child's biological father, but he ignored her. He's married and unwilling to acknowledge paternity. My parents, now overwhelmed, took legal custody of baby Grace as Emily struggled with depression and part-time work. Randall is contesting paternity in court. Meanwhile, Emily still hasn't apologized and avoids responsibility. We've only spoken briefly, and our interactions remain cold. My parents are aging and exhausted, now raising a baby in their late 50s. I help financially and babysit Grace occasionally, but continue to maintain distance from Emily. Grace deserves love, but I refuse to ignore the past just because time has passed. Next story. Pregnant sister accused me of flirting with her husband at my graduation party, but he exposed her affair and Revialith baby wasn't his, leading to a physical fight that ruined my relationship with my sister. When I was 16, I got pregnant by my then boyfriend, Mike. As soon as he found out, he vanished with help from his family, prioritizing his college sports career. My parents supported my decision to carry the pregnancy and give the baby up for adoption. They introduced me to a wonderful couple, and from there, it became more like surrogacy. The adoptive mother even tutored me through homeschool and supported me through the birth. I never held the baby, but his mother did, and it felt right. We stayed in touch from a distance. He's 16 now, and we have a quiet aunt-nephew bond. He knows who I am, and that I'll always be there if he ever needs something like a kidney. As he jokes, I eventually got married to Aaron, a divorced man with 2 kids. I've built a beautiful relationship with my stepchildren and even Aaron's ex-wife, Bella. My stepson and I are especially close. I attended one of his medical appointments when Aaron and Bella couldn't, and that's when everything spiraled. Mike, now a doctor, recognized me and assumed the teen boy with me was our biological child. He began a rambling apology talking about how he regretted leaving. I corrected him, told him I gave our son up for adoption and that I was now a stepmom. My stepson, still groggy from anesthesia, confirmed it with a proud other mom. Mike was stunned. I walked away, thinking that would be the end of it, but he found me on social media and started posting emotional rants about how I denied him fatherhood. He painted me as someone who abandoned our child to raise another man's kids. Some of our old classmates shut him down quickly, reminding him he ghosted me and even laughed about it. Mike's relatives began messaging me, calling me immoral. Some friends questioned my decision not to tell Mike about the adoption, but I had every legal and moral right to decide. The adoptive family and our bio son have the contact information from Mike's parents. If they want to reach out, it's up to them later. My biological son gave Mike a single conversation and decided to cut contact. Mike wanted to step in only if he could be called dad, which the boy didn't want. Mike begged me to meet for coffee. I agreed with my husband sitting at a nearby table. Mike treated it like a date, gifts, romantic talk, and a fantasy of us becoming a family. He said no woman has ever matched me and that he regretted everything. He asked if I'd divorce my husband and fight for custody. I laughed in his face. Then I unloaded years of pain, how he ran, how I gave up everything to be a pregnant teen, how I missed prom, graduation, and the yearbook. I told him he left me to be judged and ridiculed, that I've built a happy life without him, that the only thing he's contributed is a void. And I made it clear my life is beautiful because he's not in it. I love my husband, adore my stepchildren, and have a bond with my biological son that's based on honesty and mutual respect. I plan to have a child with my husband, and Mike will never be part of that. My husband reported Mike's hospital behavior, and thankfully he deleted his public rants. His old friends reposted them to mock him, and I've since reconnected with people who actually matter. Life is good, and Mike remains just a footnote in my story.